happens every time. Yes, Mr. Shakespeare. Yeah, we have it. He says, please turn off your non-Shakespearean devices. He always knows when we're doing a performance, so please turn them off if you would. And I would like to just congratulate all of our students for finishing a most unusual year. They did a fantastic job, and I think we're ready for a great production this evening. And I am just simply going to introduce to you Mr. Joseph Cusell, one of our faculty members, and he has been the director of this drama class throughout. Mr. Cusell, but before you take the stage, I am going to ask that we say a prayer as we do before every Lyceum class. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. Come, Holy Spirit, fill the hearts of thy faithful, and enkindle in them the fire of thy love. Send forth thy Spirit, and they shall be created, and thou shalt renew the face of the earth. Let us pray. O God, who didst instruct the hearts of thy faithful by the light of the Holy Spirit, grant us in that same Spirit to be truly wise, and ever to rejoice in his consolation, through Christ our Lord. Amen. Mary, Mother of God, and seat of wisdom, St. Thomas Aquinas, St. Genesius, in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this Lyceum Drama Program performance in this fine auditorium here at Notre Dame College, which we're very grateful to be in. The juniors and seniors, with several members of the 10th grade, will present you with the gift of beauty tonight in the form of a Shakespearean comedy, a play full of themes we're all familiar with: love, its opposite, hate, deception, clarity, love, redemption, confusion, baptism, love, pride, humility. Love is fairly prominent. I hope you will enjoy it. It would be quite difficult to overstate how hard the cast has worked on this, especially during this last week. Even without this performance, they would be deserving of much praise, and I'm sure with the performance, even more deserving of praise. So, without...
One item. Most of you know, but just repeat it for those of you watching. If you have anyone who'd like to watch this on YouTube, it'll be on Lyceum Video. It's being live streamed this evening. Lyceum Video, no space in between, on YouTube.
Without further ado about nothing, we present William Shakespeare's Much Ado About Nothing.
I learn in this letter that Don Pedro of Aragon comes this night to Messina.
He is very near by this. He was not 3 leagues off when I left him.
How many gentlemen have you lost in this action?
A few of any sort, none of name.
The victory is twice itself when the achiever brings home full numbers. I learn here that Don Pedro hath bestowed much honor on a young Florentine called Claudio.
Much deserved on his part, and equally remembered by Don Pedro. He has borne himself beyond the promise of his age, doing in the figure of a lamb, with the feats of a lion. He hath indeed bettered expectations, and you must expect me to tell you how.
He hath an uncle here in Messina who will be very much glad of it.
I already delivered him letters, and there appears much joy, even so much that joy cannot show itself modest enough without a badge of bitterness.
Did he break out in tears?
In great measure.
The kind overflow of kindness. There are no faces truer than those that are so washed. How much better it is to weep at joy than to joy at weeping.
I pray you, is Signor Montanto returned from the wars, or no?
I know none of that name, lady. There is none of any sort.
What is he it you ask for, niece?
My cousin meets Signor Benedict of Padua.
Oh, he's returned, and pleasant as ever he was.
He set up his bills here in Messina and challenged Cupid at the play. And my uncle's fool subscribed for Cupid and challenged him at the bird book. I pray you, how many hath he killed and eaten in these wars? But how many hath he killed? For indeed I promise to eat all of his killing.
Faith, niece, you tax Signor Benedict too much. But hold he meet with you, I doubt it not.
He hath done good service, lady, in these wars.
You had musty victual, and he hath hope to eat it. He is a very valiant trencherman. He hath an excellent stomach.
And a good soldier too, lady.
And a good soldier to a lady, but what is he to a lord?
A lord to a lord, a man to a man, stuffed with all honorable virtues.
It is so indeed. He is no less than a stuffed man. But for the stuffing, well, we are all mortal.
You must not, sir, mistake my niece. There's a kind of merry war betwixt her and Signor Benedict. They never meet, but there's a skirmish of wit between them.
Alas, he gets nothing by that. In our last conflict, 4 of his 5 wits went halting off. Now the whole man governed with 1. So that if he have wit enough to keep himself warm, let him bear it as a difference between himself and his horse. For it is all the wealth he hath left to be known a reasonable creature. I pray you, who is his companion now? He hath every month a new sworn brother.
Is it possible?
Very easily possible. He wears his faith, but as the fashion of his hat. It ever changes with the next flock.
I see, lady. The gentleman is not in your books.
No, and he were, I would burn my study. But I pray you, who is his companion? Is there no young squire now who make voyage with him to the devil?
He is most in the company of the right noble Claudio.
Oh Lord, he will hang upon him like a disease. He is sooner caught than the pestilence, and the taker runs presently mad. God help the noble Claudio. If he hath caught the Benedict, it will cost him 1,000 pounds ere he be cured.
I will hold friends with you, lady.
Do, good friend.
You will never run mad, niece.
No, not till a hot January.
Don Pedro is approached.
Good Signor Leonato, are you come to meet your trouble? The fashion of the world is to avoid cost. You encounter it.
Never came trouble to my house in the likeness of your grace. For trouble being gone, comfort should remain. But when you depart from me, sorrow abides, and happiness takes his leave.
You embrace your charge too willingly. I think this is your daughter.
Her mother hath many times told me so.
Were you in doubt, sir, that you asked her?
Signor Benedict, no, for then were you a child.
You have it full, Benedict. We may guess by this what you are, being a man. Truly, the lady fathers herself. Be happy, lady, for you are like an honorable father.
If Signor Leonato be your father, she would not have his head on her shoulders for all of Messina, as like him as she is.
I wonder that you will still be talking, Signor Benedict. Nobody marks you.
What, my dear lady Disdain? Are you yet living?
Is it possible Disdain should die while she has such meat food to feed it as Signor Benedict? Courtesy itself must convert to disdain if you come in her presence.
Then is courtesy a turncoat. But 'tis certain I am loved of all the ladies. Only you accepted. And I would I could find it in my heart. I had not a hard heart, for truly I love not.
A dear happiness to women. They else would have been troubled with a pernicious suitor. I thank God in my cold blood I am of your humor for that. I'd rather hear my dog bark at a crow than a man swear he loves me.
God keep your ladyship still in that mind, so some gentleman or other shall scape a predestinate scratched face.
Scratching cannot make it worse, and for such a face as yours were.
Oh, well, you are a rare parrot teacher.
A bird of my tongue is better than a beast of yours.
I would my horse had the speed of your tongue and so good a continuer. But keep your way in God's name, I have done.
You always end with a jade's trick. I know you are bold.
That is the sum of all, Leonato. Signor Claudio and Signor Benedict. My dear friend Leonato hath invited you all. I tell him we shall stay here at least a month, and he hardly prays some occasion may detain us longer. I dare swear he is no hypocrite, but prays from his heart.
If you swear, my lord, you shall not be forsworn. Let me bid you welcome, my lord. Being reconciled to the prince, your brother, I owe you all duty.
I thank you. I am not of many words, but I thank you.
Please give your grace, lead on.
Yea, we will go together.
Benedict, didst thou note the daughter of Signor Leonato?
I noted her not, but I looked on her.
Is she not a modest young lady?
Do you question me as an honest man should do for my simple, true judgment? Or would you have me speak after my custom as being a professed tyrant to their sex?
No, I pray thee, speak in sober judgment.
Why, in faith, methinks she Too low for a high praise, too brown for a fair praise, and too little for a great praise. Only this commendation can I afford her, that were she other than she is, she were unhandsome, and being no other, but as she is, I do not like her.
Thou thinkest I am in sport. I pray thee, tell me truly how thou likest her.
Would you buy her that you inquire after her?
Could the world buy such a jewel?
Yea, and a case to put it into. But speak you this with a sad brow, or do you play the flouting jack to tell us Cupid is a good hair finder and Vulcan a rare carpenter? Come, in what key shall a man take you to go in the song?
In mine eye, she is the sweetest lady that ever I looked on.
I can see yet without spectacles, and I see no such matter. There's her cousin, and were she not possessed with a fury, exceeds her as much in beauty as the 1st of May doth the last of December. But I hope you have no intent to turn husband. Have you?
I would scarce trust myself, though I had sworn the contrary, if Hero would be my wife.
It's come to this? In faith, hath not the world one man, but he will wear his cap with suspicion. Shall I never see a bachelor of 80 again? Why, go to a faith, and thou will needs thrust thy neck into a yoke, wear the print of it, and sigh away Sundays. Look, Don Pedro has returned to seek you.
What secret hath held you here, that you follow not to Leonado's?
I would your grace would constrain me to tell.
I charge thee on thy allegiance.
You hear, Count Claudio, I can be as secret as a dumb man. I would have you think so. But, on my allegiance, mark you this, on my allegiance, he is in love. With who? Now that is your grace's part. Mark how short his answer is. With Hero, Leonardo's short daughter.
If this were so, so were it uttered.
Like the old tale, my lord, it is not so, nor 'twas not so, but indeed, God forbid it should be so.
If my passion change not shortly, God forbid it should be otherwise.
Amen, if you love her, for the lady is very well worthy.
You speak this to fetch me in, my lord.
By my troth, I speak my thought.
And in faith, my lord, I spoke mine.
And by my 2 faiths and troths, my lord, I spoke mine.
That I love her, I feel.
That she is worthy, I know.
Oh, that I neither feel how she should be loved, nor know how she should be worthy, is the opinion that fire cannot melt out of me. I will die in it at the stake.
Thou wast ever an obstinate heretic in the despite of beauty.
And never could maintain his part but in the force of his will.
That a woman conceive me, I thank her. That she brought me up, I likewise give her most humble thanks. But that I should ever have a reaching winded in my forehead, or hang my bugle in an invisible baldric, all women shall pardon me. For I will not do them the wrong to mistrust any. I will do myself the right to trust none. And the fine is, for which I will go the finer, I will live a bachelor.
I shall see thee, ere I die, look pale with love.
With anger, with sickness, or with hunger, my lord, not with love. Prove that ever I lose more blood with love than I will get again with drinking. Pick out mine eyes with a ballad maker's pen, and hang me up at the door of a betrothal house, with a sign of blind Cupid.
Well, if ever thou dost fall from this faith, thou wilt prove a notable argument.
If I do, hang me in a bottle like a cat and shoot at me. And he that hits me, let him be clapped on the shoulder and called Adam.
Well, as time shall try, in time the savage bull doth bear the yoke.
The savage bull may, but if ever sensible Benedict doth bear it, pluck off the bull's horns and set them in my forehead, and let me be vilely painted. And in such great letters as they write, here is horse to hire, let them signify under my sign, here you may see Benedict, the married man.
If this should ever happen, thou wouldst be horn mad.
Nay, if Cupid have not spent all his quiver in Venice, thou wilt quake for this shortly.
I look for an earthquake too then.
Well, you'll temporize with the hours. In the meantime, good Signor Benedict, repair to Leonado's, commend me to him, and tell him I will not fail him at supper, for indeed he hath made great preparation.
I have almost enough matter in me for such an embassage. And so I leave you.
The tuition of God, from my house, if I had it.
The 6th of July, your loving friend, Benedict.
Nay, mock not, mock not. The body of your discourse is sometimes guarded with fragments, and the guards are but slightly basted in neither. Ere you flout old ends any further, examine your conscience. And so I leave you.
My liege, your highness now might do me good.
My love is dying to teach. Teach it but how? And thou shalt see how apt it is to learn any hard lesson that may do thee good.
Hath Leonardo any son, my lord?
No child but Hero. She's his only heir. Dost thou affect her, Claudio?
Oh, my lord, when you went on with ended action, I looked on her with a soldier's eye, that liked but had a rougher task in hand than to drive liking to the name of love. But now I am returned, and that war thoughts have left their places vacant. In their rooms come thronging soft and delicate desires, all prompting me how fair young Hero is, saying I liked her ere I went to war.
Thou wilt be like a lover presently, and tire the hero with the book of words. If thou dost love fair Hero, cherish it, and I will break with her and with her father, and thou shalt have her.
How sweetly you do minister to love, that knows love's grief by his complexion. But lest my liking might too sudden seem, I would have solved it with a longer treatise.
What need the bridge much broader than the flood? The fairest grant is the necessity. Look, what will serve is fit. 'Tis once thou lovest, and I will fit thee with the remedy. I know we shall have reveling tonight, and I will assume thy part in some disguise, and tell fair Hero I am Claudio. And in her bosom I'll enclasp my heart, and take her hearing prisoner with the force and strong encounter of my amorous tale. Let us put it in practice presently.
How now, brother? Where's my cousin, your son? Hath he provided this music?
Yes, he's very busy about it. But brother, I can tell you strange news that you have not yet dreamt of.
Are they good?
As the event stamps them, but they have a good cover. They show well outward. The prince and Claudio are walking through a thick pleached alley in mine orchard, and were much overheard by a man of mine. The prince revealed to Claudio that he loved my niece, your daughter, and meant to acknowledge it this night at a dance. And if he found her accordant, he meant to take the time presently and break with you instantly of it.
Hath the fellow any wit that told you this?
A good sharp fellow. I will send for him, and you question him yourself.
No, no, we will hold it as a dream till it appear itself. But I will acquaint my daughter withal, that she may be the better prepared for an answer, peradventure this be true. Go you and tell her of it. Cousin, you know what you have to do. Oh, I cry you mercy, friend. Go with me and I will use your skill. Good cousin, have a care this busy time.
What the good year, my lord? Why are you thus out of measure sad?
There is no measure in the occasion that breeds. Therefore the sadness is without limit.
You should hear reason.
And when I have heard it, what blessing brings it?
If not a present remedy, at least a patient sufferance.
I wonder that thou, being as thou sayest thou art, born under Saturn, goest about to apply a moral medicine to a mortifying mischief. I cannot hide what I am. I must be sad when I have cause, and smile at no man's jests. Eat when I have stomach, and wait on no man's leisure. Sleep when I am drowsy, and tend on no man's business. Laugh when I am merry, and claw no man in his humor.
Yea, but you must not make full show of this till you may do it without controlment. You have late stood out against your brother, and he hath taken you newly into his grace, where it is impossible that you take true root but by the fair weather that you make for yourself. It is needful that you frame the season for your own harvest.
I'd rather be a canker in a hedge than a rose in his grace, and it better fits my blood to be disdained of all than to fashion a carriage to rob love from any. In this, though, I cannot be said to be a flattering, honest man. It must not be denied. I am a plain-dealing villain. I am entrusted with a muzzle and enfranchised with a claw. Therefore, I have decreed not to sing in my cage. If I had my mouth, I would bite. If I had my liberty, I would do my liking. In the meantime, let me be that I am, and seek not to alter me.
Can you make no use of your discontent?
I make all use of it, for I use it only. Who comes here? What news, Brachio?
I came yonder from a great supper. The prince, your brother, is royally entertained by Leonardo, and I can give you intelligence of an intended marriage.
Will it serve for any model to build mischief on? What is he for a fool that betroths himself to unquiet?
Mary, it is your brother's right hand.
The most exquisite Claudio?
Even he.
A proper squire. And who, which way looks he?
Mary, on Hero, the daughter and heir to Leonardo.
A very forward March chick. How came you to this?
I was being entertained for a perfumer. So I was smoking in musty room, comes me the prince and Claudio, hand in hand in sad conference. I whipped me behind the arras, and there heard it agreed upon that the prince should woo Hero, and upon obtaining her, give her to Count Claudio.
Come, let us thither. This may prove food to my displeasure. That young startup hath all the glory of my overthrow. If I can cross him any way, I bless myself every way. You are both sure and will assist me in this?
To the death, my lord.
Shall we go prove what's to be done?
We'll wait upon your lordship.
Was not Count John here at supper?
I saw him not.
How tartly that gentleman looks. I never can see him, but I'm heartburned an hour after.
He is of a very melancholy disposition.
You were an excellent man that were made just in the midway between him and Benedict. The one is too like an image and says nothing. The other too like my lady's eldest son, evermore tattling.
Then half Senior Benedict's tongue in Count John's mouth, and half Count John's melancholy in Senior Benedict's face.
With a good leg and a good foot, uncle, and money enough in his purse, such a man would win any woman in the world if he could get her goodwill.
Faith, niece, thou wilt never get thee a husband if thou be so shrewd of thy tongue.
In faith, she's too cursed.
Too cursed is more than cursed. I shall lessen God's sending that way. For it is said, God sends a cursed cow short horns, but to a cow too cursed, he sends none.
So by being too cursed, God will send you no horns.
Just if he send me no husband, for the which blessing I am at him upon my knees every morning and evening. Lord, I could not endure a husband with a beard on his face. I had rather lie in the woolen.
You may light on a husband that hath no beard.
What should I do with him? Dress him in my apparel and make him my waiting gentlewoman? He that hath a beard is more than a youth, and he that hath no beard is less than a man. And he that is more than a youth, not for me, and he that is less than a man, I am not for him. Therefore, I'll even take 6 in earnest of the bear herd and lead his apes into hell.
Well then, go you into hell?
No, but to the gate. And there will the devil meet me like an old cuckold with horns on his head, and say, "Get you to heaven, Beatrice, get you to heaven. There's no place for you maids." So deliver I up my apes and away to St. Peter. For the heavens, he shows me where the bachelors sit, and there live we, as merry as the day is long.
Well, niece, I trust to be ruled by your father.
Yes, faith, it is my cousin's duty to make curtsy and say, "Father, as it please you." Yet for all that, cousin, let him be a handsome fellow, or else make another curtsy and say, "Father, as it please me."
Well, niece, I hope to see you one day fitted with a husband.
Not till God make men of some other metal than earth. Would it not grieve a woman to be overmastered by a piece of valiant dust? To make an account of her life to a clod of wayward marl? No, uncle, I'll none. Adam's sons are my brethren, and truly I hold it as a sin to match in my kindred.
Daughter, if the prince do solicit you in that kind, you know your answer.
The fault will be in the music, cousin, if you be not wooed in good time. If the prince be too important, tell him there's measure in everything, and so dance out the answer. For hear me, hero, wooing, wedding, and repenting are as a Scotch jig, a measure, and a syncopace. The first suit is hot and hasty like a Scotch jig, full as fantastical. The wedding, mannerly, modest as a measure, full of state and ancientry. And then comes repentance, with his bad legs falls into syncopace faster and faster until he sinks into his grave.
Cousin, you apprehend passing shrewdly.
I have a good eye, uncle. I can see church by daylight.
The revelers are entering, brother. Make good room.
Lady, will you walk about with your friend?
So you walk softly and look sweetly and say nothing. I am yours for the walk, and especially when I walk away.
With me in your company?
I may say so when I please.
And when please you to say so?
When I like your favor, for God to send the lute should be like the case.
My visor is Philemon's roof. Within the house is Jove.
Why, then your visor should be thatched.
Speak low if you speak love.
I would you did like me.
So would not I, for I have many ill qualities.
Which is one?
I say my prayers aloud.
I like you the better. The hearers may cry, Amen.
God, match me with a good dancer.
Amen.
And God, when the dance is done, keep him out of my sight.
No more words. The clerk is answered.
I know you well enough. You are Signor Antonio.
At a word, I am not.
I know you by the waggling of your head.
In faith, I'm counterfeiting him.
You could never do the man so ill well, unless you were he.
At a word, I am not.
Come, come, do you think I do not know you by your excellent wit? Can such virtue hide itself? Go to mom, you are he. Graces will appear and there's an end. Will you not tell me who told you so?
No, you shall pardon me.
Nor will you not tell me who you are?
Not now.
That I was disdainful and that I had got my good wit out of the 100 merry tales. This was Senior Benedict that said so.
What's he?
I'm sure you know him well enough.
Not I. Believe me.
Did he never make you laugh?
I pray you, what is he?
Why, he is the prince's jester, a very dull fool. Only his grace is in devising impossible slanders. None but libertines delight in him, and the commendation is not in his wit, but in his villainy. For he both pleases men and angers them, and then they laugh at him and beat him. I'm sure he is in the fleet. I would he had boarded me.
When I know the gentleman, I'll tell him what you say.
Do. He'll but break a comparison or two on me, which, peradventure not marked or not laughed at, strikes him into melancholy. And then there's a partridge wing saved, for the fool will eat no supper that night. We must follow the leaders.
In every good thing.
Nay, if they lead to any ill, I shall leave them at the next turning.
Sure, my brother is amorous on Hero, and hath withdrawn with her father to break within the body. The ladies follow her, and but one visor remains.
And that is Claudio. I know him by his bearing.
Are you not Signor Benedict?
You know me well. I am he.
Signor, you are very near my brother in his love. He is enamored on Hero. I pray you dissuade him from her, for she is no equal for his birth. You may do the part of an honest man.
How know you he loves her?
I heard him swear his affection.
So did I too. He swore he would marry her tonight.
Let us to the great supper.
Thus answer I in name of Benedict. Hear these ill news with the ears of Claudio. 'Tis certain so the prince woos for himself. Friendship is constant in all things, save in the office and affairs of love. Therefore, all hearts in love use their own tongues. Let every eye negotiate for itself and trust no agent. For beauty is a witch, against whose charms faith melteth into blood. This is an accident of hourly proof, which I mistrusted not. Farewell, therefore, hero.
Count Claudio.
Yea, the same.
Come. Will you go with me?
Whither?
Even in the next willow tree, County. About your own business. In what fashion will you wear the garland of? around your neck like the usurer's chain, or under your arm like the lieutenant's scarf. You must wear it one way, for the prince hath got your hero.
I wish him joy of her.
Why? That's spoken like an honest drover. So they sell bullocks. But did you think the prince would have served you thus?
I pray you leave me.
Ho! Now you strike out like the blind man. 'Twas the boy that stole your meat, and you'll be deposed.
If it'll not be, I'll leave you.
Alas, poor hurt fowl, now will he creep into the sedges. But that my lady Beatrice should know me and not know me. The prince's fool? Ha! Maybe I go under the title because I am married. Yea, but so I am apt to do myself wrong. I am not so reputed. It is the base though bitter disposition of Beatrice that puts the world in her person and so gives me out. Well, I'll be revenged as I may.
Now, senor, where's the count? Did you see him?
Troth, my lord, I have played the part of Lady Fame. I found him here as melancholy as a lodge in a warren. I told him, and I think I told him true, that your grace had got the goodwill of this young lady. I offered him my company to a willow tree, either to make him a garland as being forsaken, or to bind him up a rod as being worthy to be whipped.
To be whipped? What's his fault?
The flat transgression of a schoolboy, who, being overjoyed with finding a bird's nest, shows it to his companion, and he steals it.
Wilt thou make trust a transgression? The transgression is in the stealing.
Yet it had not been amiss, the rod had been made, and the garland too. For the garland he might have worn himself, and the rod he might have bestowed on you, who, as I take it, have stolen his bird's nest.
I will but teach them to sing and restore them to their owner.
If their singing answer your saying, by my faith you say honestly.
The lady Beatrice hath a quarrel to you. The gentleman that danced with her told her she was much wronged by you.
Oh, she misused me past the endurance of a block. An oak but with one green leaf on it would have answered her. My very visor began to assume life and scold with her. She told me, not thinking I had been myself, that I was the prince's fool, that I was duller than a great thaw, huddling jest upon jest, with such impossible conveyance that I stood like a man at the mark with an entire army shooting at me. She speaks poniards, every word stabs. If her breath were as terrible as her terminations, there were no living near her. She would infect to the North Star. I would not marry her, though she were endowed with all Adam had left him before he transgressed. She would have made Hercules have turned spit, yea, and have cleft his club to make the fire too. Come, talk not of her. You shall find her the infernal Ate in good apparel. I would to God some scholar would conjure her, for certainly, while she is here, a man may live as happy in hell as in the sanctuary. And people go thither and sin on purpose because they would go thither. So too, all disquiet, horror, and perturbation follows her.
Look, here she comes.
Will your grace command me on any service to the world's end? I will go now to the Antipodes on the slightest errand your grace can devise to send me on. I will fetch you a toothpick from the furthest inch of Asia. Bring you the length of Prester John's foot. Fetch you a hair off the great Sham's beard. Do you any embassage to the pygmies rather than hold 3 words conference with this harpy? You have no employment for me?
None but to desire your good company.
Oh, God, sir, here is a dish I love not. I cannot endure my lady tongue.
Come, lady, come. You've lost the heart of Signor Benedict.
Indeed, my lord, he lent it me a while, and I gave him use for it, a double heart for his single one. Mary once wanted of me with false dice, therefore your grace may well say I have lost it.
You've put him down, lady, you have put him down.
So I would not he should do me, my lord, lest I should prove the mother of fools. I have brought Count Claudio, whom you sent me to see.
Why, how now, Count? Wherefore are you sad?
Not sad, my lord.
How then? Sick?
Neither, my lord.
The Count is neither sad, nor sick, nor merry, nor well. But civil, Count, civil as an orange, and something of that jealous complexion.
In faith, lady, I think you're blazoned to be true. Though I'll be sworn, if he be so, his conceit is false. Here, Claudio, I have wooed in thy name, and fair hero is won. I have broke with her father, and his good will obtained. Name the day of marriage, and God give thee joy.
Count, take of me my daughter, and with her my fortunes. His grace hath made the match, and all graces say amen to it.
Speak, Count, 'tis your cue.
Silence is the perfectest herald of joy. Lady, as you are mine, I am yours. I give away myself to you who dote upon the exchange.
Speak, cousin, or if you cannot, stop his mouth with a kiss and let him not speak neither.
In faith, lady, you have a merry heart.
Yea, I thank it, poor fool. It keeps on the windy side of care. My cousin tells him in his ear that he is in her heart.
And so she doth, cousin.
Good Lord for alliance. Thus go all to the world but I, and I am sunburnt. I may sit in a corner and cry, hey ho for a husband.
Lady Beatrice, I will get you one.
I'd rather one of your father's getting. Hath your grace ne'er a brother like you? Your father got excellent husbands if a maid could come by them.
Will you have me, lady?
Oh, no, no, your grace is, pardon me, your grace is too costly to wear every day, unless I might get another for working days. I beseech your grace, pardon me, I was born to speak all mirth and no matter.
Your silence most offends me, and to be merry best becomes you. For out of question, you were born in a merry hour.
No, sure, my lord, my mother cried, but then there was a star danced, and under that I was born. Cousins, God give you joy.
Niece, will you look to those things that I told you of?
I cry you mercy, uncle, by your grace's pardon.
By my troth, a pleasant-spirited lady.
There is little of the melancholy element in her, my lord. She is never sad but when she sleeps, and not ever sad then. For I've heard my daughter say that she's often dreamt of unhappiness and waked herself with laughing.
She cannot endure to hear tell of a husband.
Oh, by no means. She mocks all her wooers out of suit.
She were an excellent wife to Benedict.
Lord, my lord, if they were but a week married, they would talk themselves mad.
Count Claudio, when mean you to go to church?
Tomorrow, my lord. Time goes on crutches to love all his rights.
Not till Monday, my dear son, which is hence a just 7 night, and a time too brief, too, to have all things answer my mind.
Come, you shake the head at so long a breathing. But I warrant thee, Claudio, the time shall not go dully by us. I will, in the interim, undertake one of Hercules' labors, which is to bring Signor Benedict and Lady Beatrice into a mountain of affection. I would fain have it a match, and doubt not but the fashionate, if you three will but minister such assistance as I shall give you direction.
My lord, will you walk? Dinner is ready.
It is so. The Count Claudio shall marry the daughter of Leonardo.
Yea, my lord, but I can cross it.
Any bar, any cross, any impediment will be medicine to me. I am sick in displeasure to him, and whatsoever comes athwart, his affection ranges evenly with mine. How canst thou cross this marriage?
Not honestly, my lord, but so covertly that no dishonesty shall appear in me.
Show me briefly how.
I believe I told your lordship a year since how much I am in the favor of Margaret, the waiting gentlewoman to Hero.
I remember.
I can, at any unseasonable instant of the night, appoint her to look out at her lady's chamber window.
What life is in that to be the death of his marriage?
The poison of that lies in you to temper. Go you to the prince your brother. Spare not to tell him that he hath wronged his honor in marrying the renowned Claudia, whose estimation you do mightily hold up to a contaminated stale, such a one as Hero.
What life is in that to be the death of his marriage?
poison that lies in you.
Grow this to what adverse issue it can. I will put it in practice. Be cunning in the working of this, and thy fee is 1,000 ducats.
Be you constant in your accusation. My cunning shall not shame you.
I will presently go learn their day of marriage.
Boy,
Signor?
in my chamber window lies a book. Bring it hither to me in the orchard.
I'm here already, sir.
I know that, but I would have thee hence and here again. I do much wonder that one man, seeing how much another man is a fool, when he dedicates his behaviors to love, will, after he hath laughed at such shallow follies in others, become the argument of his own scorn by falling in love. And such a man is Claudio. I have known when there was no music with him, but the drum and the fife. And now he had rather hear the tabor and the pipe. I have known when he would have walked 10 miles afoot to see a good armor. Now we lie 10 nights awake, carving the fashion of a new doublet. He was wont to speak plain and to the purpose, like an honest man and a soldier. Now as he turned orthography, his words are very fantastical banquet. Just so many strange dishes. May I be so converted and see with these eyes? I cannot tell. I think not. I'll not be sworn, but love may transform me to an oyster. But I'll take my oath on it. Till love hath made an oyster of me, he'll never make me such a fool. One woman is fair, yet I am well. Another, virtuous, yet I am well. Another, wise, yet I am well. But till all graces be in one woman shall not come in my grace. Rich she shall be, that's certain. Wise, or I'll none. Virtuous, or I'll never cheapen her. Fair, or I'll never look on her. Mild, or come not near me. Noble, or not I for an angel. Of good discourse, an excellent musician, and her hair shall be what color pleases God. The prince and Monsieur Love, I will hide me in the arbor.
Come, shall we hear this music?
Yea, my good lord, how still the evening is, and hushed on purpose to grace harmony.
See you where Benedict hath hid himself?
Oh, very well, my lord. The music ended, we'll fit the kid fox with a pennyworth.
Come, Balthazar, we'll hear that song again.
Oh, good my lord, tax not so bad a voice to slander music more than once.
It is the witness still of excellency to put a strange face on his own perfection. I pray thee sing, and let me woo no more.
Since you talk of wooing, I will sing. since many a wooer doth commence his suit, to her he thinks not worthy. Yet he woos, yet will he swear he loves.
Nay, pray thee come. Or if thou wilt hold longer argument, do it in notes.
Note this before my notes. There's not a note of mine that's worth the noting.
Why, these are very crotchets that he speaks. Note notes forsooth and nothing.
Now divine air, now is his soul ravished. Is it not strange that sheep's guts should hail souls out of men's bodies? Well, a horn for my money when all's done.
Sigh no more, ladies, sigh no more. Men were deceivers ever. One put in sea and one on shore. To one they constant never. Let us sigh not so, but let them go. And be you blithe and bonny, converting all your sounds of woe into a naughty dawn. Sing no more, no did he sing no more of drums so dull and heavy, so dull and heavy. The fraud of man was ever so, since summer first was leavened. Then sigh not so, but let them go, and be you blithe and bonny, converting all your sounds of woe into a naughty dawn.
By my troth, a good song.
And an ill singer, my lord.
Ah, no faith. Thou singst well enough for a ship.
And he had been a dog that should have howled thus. They would have hanged him. I pray God his bad voice bode no mischief. I would as lief have heard the night raven. Come what plague could have followed.
Yea, Mary, dost thou hear about the Tsar? I pray thee, get us some excellent music. For tomorrow night we would have it at the Lady Hero's chamber window.
The best I can, my lord.
Do so, farewell. Come hither, Leonardo. What was it you told me of today? That your niece Beatrice was in love with Signor Benedict?
Oh, hey! Stalk on, a foul sit. I did never think that lady would have loved any man.
No, nor I neither. But most wonderful that she should so dote on Signor Benedict, whom she hath in all outward behavior seemed ever to abhor.
Is it possible? Sits the wind in that corner?
By my troth, my lord, I cannot tell what to think of it, but that she loves him with an enraged affection. It is past the infinite of thought.
Maybe she doth but counterfeit.
Faith, like enough.
Oh God, counterfeit? It never became counterfeit of passion so close to life with passion as she discovers it.
Why? What effects of passion shows she?
Bait the hook well. This fish will bite.
What effects, my lord? She will sit you. You heard my daughter tell you how.
She did indeed?
How, I pray you? You amaze me. I would have thought her spirit had been invincible against all assaults of affection.
I would have sworn it had, my lord, especially against Benedict.
I should think this a Gaul, but that the white-bearded fellow speaks it. Knavery cannot sure hide himself in such reverence.
She obtained the infection. Hold it up.
Has she made her affection known to Benedict?
No, and swears she never will. That's her torment.
'Tis even so. So your daughter says. Shall I, says she, that have so often counted him with scorn, write to him that I love him?
This says she now when she's beginning to write him. For she'll be up 20 times a night, and there will she sit in her smock till she have read a sheet of paper.
Now that you talk of a sheet of paper, I remember a pretty jest your daughter told us of.
Oh, when she had read it and was reading it over, she found Benedict and Beatrice between the sheets.
That.
Oh, God, she tore the letter into 1,000 halfpence. Raved of herself that she should be so immodest as to write to him that she knew would flout her. I measure him, says she, by my own spirit, for I should flout him if he should write to me. Yea, though I love him, I should.
Then down on her knees she falls, weeps, sobs, beats her heart, tears her hair, prays, curses. Oh, sweet Benedict, God give me patience.
She doth indeed, and the ecstasy hath so much overborne her spirit that my daughter is sometimes afeard she'll do some desperate outrage to herself. It is very true.
It were good that Benedict knew him by some other, if she will not discover it.
To what end, my lord? He would make but a sport of it, and torment the poor lady worse.
And he should. It were an alms to hang him. She's an excellent sweet lady, and out of all suspicion, she is virtuous.
And she is exceeding wise.
In everything but in loving Benedict.
Oh, my lord, wisdom and blood combating in so tender a body, we have 10 proofs to 1 that blood hath the victory. I am sorry for her, as I have just cause, being her uncle and her guardian.
I would she had bestowed this dotage on me, out of daft all other respects, and made her half myself. I pray thee, tell Benedict of it, and hear what he will say.
Were it good, think you?
Hero thinks, surely she will die. For she says she will die if he love her not. And she will die ere she make her love known. And she will die if he woo her, rather than she will bate one breath of her accustomed crossness.
She doth well. If she should make tender of her love, 'tis very possible he'll scorn it. For the man, as you know all, hath a contemptible spirit.
He is a very proper man.
He hath indeed a good outward happiness.
Before God, and in my mind, very wise.
He doth indeed show some sparks that are like wit.
And I take him to be valiant?
As Hector, I assure you. And in the managing of quarrels, you may say he is wise. For either he avoids them with great discretion, or undertakes them with the most Christian-like fear.
If you do fear God, you must necessarily keep peace. If you break the peace, you must enter into a quarrel with fear and trembling.
And so will he do, for the man doth fear God. Howsoever it seems not in him, by some large jest he will make. Well, I'm sorry for your niece. Shall we go seek Benedict and tell him of her love?
Never tell him, my lord. Let her wear it out with good counsel.
Nay, that's impossible. She may wear her heart out first.
Well, we will hear further of it by your daughter. Let it cool the while. I pray thee, get us some, I pray thee.
Do not dote on her upon this. I will never trust my expectations.
Let there be the same net spread for her, and that must your daughter and her gentlewomen carry. The sport will be when they hold one an opinion of another's dotage, and no such matter. That's the scene that I would see, which will be merely a dumb show. Let us send her to call him into dinner.
This can be no trick. The conference was sadly born. They have the truth of this from Hero. They seem to pity the lady. Love me? Why, it must be requited. I hear how I am censured. They say I will bear myself proudly if I perceive the love come from her. They say, too, she will rather die than give any sign of her affection. I did not think to marry. I must not seem proud. Happy are they that hear their detractions and can put them to mending. They say the lady is fair. 'Tis so, I can bear them witness. And virtuous? I cannot reprove it. And wise, but for loving me. By my troth, it is no argument of her folly, nor no great addition of her wit, for I will be horribly in love with her. I may chance have some odd quirks and remnants of wit broken on me because I have railed so long against marriage. But doth not the appetite alter? A man loves the meat in his youth that he cannot endure in his old age. Shall these quips and sentences and paper bullets of the brain Awe a man from the career of his humor? No! The world must be people. When I said I would die a bachelor, I did not think I should live till I were married. Here comes Beatrice. Oh, by this day she is a fair lady. I do spy some marks of love in her.
Against my will, I am sent to bid you come into dinner.
Sweet Beatrice, I thank you for your pains.
I took no more pains for those thanks than you took pains to thank me.
Then
If it
you-
had been painful, I would not have come.
You take pleasure then in the message.
Yea, just so much as you may take upon a knife's point and choke a doll withal. You have no stomach, Signor. Fare you well.
Oh. I took no more. Against my will, I am sent to bid you come into dinner. There's a double meaning in that. I took no more pains for those thanks than the pains you took to thank me. That's as much to say, any pains I take for you are as easy as thanks. If I do not love her, I am a villain. If I do not pity her, I am a Jew. I will go get her picture.
Good Margaret, run into the parlor. There shalt thou find my cousin Beatrice, proposing with the prince and Claudio. Whisper her ear, and tell her that I and Ursula walk in the orchard, and our whole discourse is all of her. Bid her steal into the pleated bower, where honeysuckles ripened by the sun forbid the sun to enter, like favorites made proud by princes, that advance their pride against the power that bred it. There will she hide her to listen to our conference. This is thy office. Fare thee well in it, and leave us alone.
I'll make her come, I warrant you, presently.
Now, Ursula, when Beatrice doth come, our talk must only be of Benedict. When I do name him, let it be thy part to praise him more than ever man did merit. My talk to thee must be how Benedict is sick in love with Beatrice. Of this matter is little Cupid's crafty arrow made, that only wounds by hearsay. Now begin, for look where Beatrice, like a lapwing, runs close by the ground to hear our conference.
The pleasantest angling is to see the fish cut with her golden oars the silver streams, and greedily devour the treacherous bait. So angle we for Beatrice, who even now is couched in the woodbine coverture. Fear you not my part in the dialogue.
Then go we near her, that her ear lose nothing of the false sweet bait that we lay for it. No, truly, Ursula, she is too disdainful. I know her spirits are as coy and wild as haggards of the rock.
And are you so sure that Benedict loves Beatrice so entirely?
So says the prince and my new betrothed lord.
And did they bid you tell her of it, madame?
They did entreat me to acquaint her of it. But I persuaded them, if they loved Benedict, to wish him wrestle with affection and never to let Beatrice know of it.
Why did you so? Doth not the gentleman deserve as full as fortunate a bed as ever Beatrice shall couch upon?
Oh, God of love! I know he doth deserve as much as may be yielded to a man. But nature never framed a woman's heart of prouder stuff than that of Beatrice. Disdain and scorn ride sparkling in her eyes, misprizing what they look upon. And her wit values itself so highly that to her all matter else seems weak. She cannot love, nor take no shape nor project of affection. She is so self-endeared.
Ah, sure, I agree. And therefore certainly it were not well she knew his love, lest she'll make sport at it.
Why, you speak truth. I never yet saw a man how wise, how noble, young, how rarely featured. But she would spell him backwards. If fair-faced, she would swear the gentleman should be her sister. If black, why, Nature, drawing of an antic, made a foul blot. If tall, a lance ill-headed. If low, an agate very vilely cut. If speaking, why, a vein blown with all winds. If silent, why, a block moved with none. So turns she every man the wrong side out, and never gives to truth and merit that which simpleness and virtue purchases.
Sure, such carping is not commendable.
No, not to be so odd and from all fashions as Beatrice is cannot be commendable.
Yet, tell her of it. Hear what she will say.
No, rather I will go to Benedict and counsel him to fight against his passion. And truly, I'll devise some honest slanders to stain my cousin with. One doth not know how much an ill word may empoison liking.
Oh, do not do your cousin such a wrong. She cannot be so much without true judgment, having as swift and excellent a wit as she is prized to have. To refuse so rare a gentleman as Signor Benedict.
He is the only man of Italy, always excepting my dear Claudio.
I pray you be not angry with me, madame, speaking my fancy. Signor Benedict, for shape, for bearing, for argument, and for valor, goes foremost in report throughout all of Italy.
Indeed, he hath an excellent good name.
And his excellence did earn it ere he had it. When are you married, madame?
Why, every day tomorrow. Come, go in, and I'll show thee some attires, and have thy counsel which is the best to furnish me tomorrow.
She's limed, I'll warrant you. We've caught her, madame.
If it proves so, then loving goes by half. Some Cupid kills with arrows, and some with traps.
What fire is in my ears? Can this be true? Stand I condemned for pride and scorn so much? Contempt, farewell, maiden pride adieu, no glory lives behind the back of such. And Benedict, love on, I will requite thee, taming my wild heart to thy loving hand. If thou dost love, my kindness shall incite thee to bind our loves up in holy band. For others say thou dost deserve, and I believe it better than reportingly.
I do but stay till your marriage be consummate. Then go I toward Aragon.
I'll bring you thither, my lord, if you'll vouchsafe me.
Nay, there'll be as great a soil in the new gloss of your marriage as to show a child his new coat and forbid him to wear it. I will only be bold with Benedict for his company, for from the crown of his head to the sole of his foot he is all mirth. He hath twice or thrice cut Cupid's bowstrings, and the little hangman dare not shoot at him. He hath the heart as sound as a bell, and his tongue is the clapper. For what his heart thinks, his tongue speaks.
Gallants, I am not as I have been.
So say I. Methinks you are sadder.
I hope ye be in love.
Hang him truant. There's no true drop of blood in him to be truly touched with love. If he be sad, he wants money.
I have the toothache.
Draw it.
Hang it!
You must hang it first, draw it afterwards.
Where is but a humor or a worm?
Yet say I, he is in love.
There's no appearance of fancy in him, unless it be a fancy he hath to strange disguises, as to be a Dutchman today, a Frenchman tomorrow, or in the shape of two countries at once, as a German from the waist downward, all slops, and the Spaniard from the hips upward, no doublet. Unless he have a fancy to this foolery, as it appears he hath, he is no fool for fancy, as you would have it appear he is.
If he be not in love with some woman, there's no believing old signs. He brushes his hat o' mornings. What should that bode?
Hath any man seen him at the barber?
No, but the barber's man hath been seen with him, and the old ornaments of his cheeks hath already stuffed tennis balls.
Indeed, he looks younger than he did, by the loss of a beard.
Nay, he rubs himself with civet. Can you smell him out by that?
That's as much to say, the sweet use in love.
The greatest note of it is his melancholy.
And when was he one to wash his face?
Yea, or to paint himself.
Yet is this no cure for the toothache. Old senor, walk aside with me. I have studied 8 or 9 wise words to say to you that these hobby horses must not hear.
For my life, to break with him about Beatrice.
'Tis even so. Hero and Margaret have by this played their part with Beatrice, and the two bears will not bite one another when they meet.
My lord and brother, God save you.
Good e'en, brother.
If your leisure served, I would speak with you.
In private?
If it please you, yet Count Claudio may hear, for what I would speak of concerns him.
What's the matter?
Means your lordship to be married tomorrow?
You know he does.
I know not that, when I know what I know.
If there be any impediment, I pray you discover it.
You may think I love you not. Let that appear hereafter, and aim better at me by that which I will now manifest. For my brother, I think, he holds you well, and in dearness of heart hath hope to effect your ensuing marriage. Surely, suit ill spent and labor ill bestowed.
Why? What's the matter?
I came hither to tell you, and circumstances shortened, for she has been too long a talking of. The lady is disloyal.
Who? Hero?
Even she, Leonardo's hero, your hero, every man's hero.
Disloyal?
The word is too good to paint out her wickedness. I could say she were worse. Think you of a worse title, and I will fit her to it. Wonder not till further warned. Go but with me tonight, and you shall see her chamber window entered the night before her wedding day. If you love her then, tomorrow wed her. But it better fits your honor to change your mind.
May this be so?
I will not think it.
If you trust not that you see, confess not that you know. If you will follow me, I will show you enough. And when you have seen more and heard more, proceed accordingly.
If I see anything tonight, why I should not marry her. Tomorrow in the congregation, where I should wed her, there will I shame her.
And as I wooed for thee to obtain her, so will I join with thee to disgrace her.
I will disparage her no further till you are my witnesses. Bear it coldly but till midnight, and let the issue show itself.
O day untowardly turns.
O mischief strangely thwarting.
O plague right well prevented. So will you say when you have seen the sequel.
Are you good men and true?
Yea, or else they should suffer salvation, body and soul.
Nay, that's where punishment too good for them, if they should have any allegiance in them, being chosen for the prince's watch.
Well, give them their charge, neighbor Dogberry.
First, who think you the most desartless man to be constable?
Hugh Oatcake, sir, for George Sequel, for they can write and read.
Come hither, neighbor Seacole. God hath blessed you with a good name. To be a well-favored man is a gift of fortune, but to write and read comes by nature.
Both which, Master Constable?
You have. I knew it'd be your answer. Well, for your favor, sir, why give God thanks and make no boast of it. And for your writing and reading, let that appear when there's no need of such vanity. You are thought here to be the most senseless and fit man for the constable of the watch. Therefore, bear you the lantern. This is your charge. You shall comprehend all vagre men. You are to bid any man stand in the prince's name.
How, if he will not stand?
Why then, take no note of him, but to let him go. And presently call the rest of the watch together, and thank God you're rid of the knave.
If he will not stand, he is none of the prince's subjects.
True, and they are to meddle with none but the prince's subjects. You shall also make no noise in the streets, for the watch to babble and to talk is most tolerable and not to be endured.
We will rather sleep than talk. We know it belongs to a watch.
Why, you sound like a most ancient and quiet watchman, for I cannot see how sleeping should offend, only have a care your bills be not stolen. Well, you are to call at all the alehouses, and bid those that are drunk, get them to bed.
How if they will not?
Why then, let them alone until they are sober. If they make you not then the better answer, you may say they are not the men you took them for.
Well, sir.
If you meet a thief, you may suspect him by virtue of your office to be no true man. And for such kind of men, the less you meddle or make with them, why, the more is for your honesty.
If we know them to be a thief, shall we not lay hands on them?
Truly, by your office, you may, but I think they that touch pitch will be defiled. The most peaceable way for you, if you do take a thief, is to let him show himself what he is and steal out of your company.
You have always been called a merciful man, partner.
Truly, I would not hang a dog by my will, much more a man who hath any honesty in him.
If you hear a child cry in the night, you must call a nurse to bid her still it.
How if the nurse be asleep and will not hear us?
Why then, depart in peace, and let the child wake her with crying. For the ewe that will not hear her lamb when it baws, will never answer a calf when he bleats.
'Tis very true.
This is the end of the charge. You, constable, are present the prince's own person. If you meet the prince in the night, you may stay him.
Nay, by our lady, I think he cannot.
5 shillings to 1 on it with any man that knows the statutes. He may stay him, not without the prince be willing, for indeed the watch ought to offend no man, and it is an offense to stay a man against his will.
By our lady, I think it be so.
Well, masters, good night. And there be any matter of weight chances, call at me. Keep your fellows' counsels and your own, and good night. Come, neighbor.
Well, masters, we hear our charge. Let us sit here upon the church bench till 2, and then all to bed.
One word more, honest neighbors. I pray you keep watch about Senior Leonardo's door, for the wedding being there tomorrow, there is a great coil tonight. Adieu. Be vigilant, I beseech you.
What? Conrad?
Peace. Stir not.
Conrad, I say.
Here, man. I'm at thy elbow.
And my elbow itched. I thought there would a scab follow.
I will owe thee an answer for that. Now forward with thy tale.
Therefore know, I've earned of Don John 1,000 ducats.
Is it possible any villainy should be so dear?
Thou should rather ask if it were possible that any villainy should be so rich. For when rich villains have need of poor ones may make what price they will.
I wonder at it.
That shows thou art unconfirmed. Thou knowest that the fashion of a doublet, or hat, or cloak is nothing to a man.
Yes, it is apparel.
I mean the fashion.
Yes, the fashion is the fashion.
Tush, I may as well say the fool's a fool. But seest thou not what a deformed thief this fashion is?
I know that deformed. He's been a vile thief this 7 years. He goes up and down like a gentleman. I remember his name.
Dost thou not hear something?
No, 'twas the vein on the house.
Seest thou not, I say, what a deformed thief this fashion is? How giddily he turns about all the hot bloods between 14 and 5 and 30, sometimes fashioning them like Pharaoh's soldiers in the Ricci paintings, sometimes like the God-Bel's priests in the old church windows, sometimes like the shaven Hercules, in whose smirched worm-eaten tapestry seems as massy as his foot.
And thought they Margaret was hero?
Not so, neither. But know that tonight I have wooed Margaret, the lady hero's gentlewoman by the name of Hero. She leans me out her mistress's chamber window and bids me 1,000 times good night. I tell this tale vilely,
But I should first tell thee how the Prince Claudio and my master, planted, placed, and possessed by my master Don John, saw far off in the orchard this amiable encounter.
And thought they Margaret was hero?
Two of them did, the prince and Claudia. But the devil my master knew she was Margaret. Partly by his oaths which first possessed them, partly by the dark night which did deceive them, but chiefly by my villainy, which did confirm any slander that Don John had made. Away went Claudio, enraged, swore he would meet her as he was appointed the next morning at the temple, and there, before the whole congregation, shame her into what he saw ere night, and send her home again without a husband.
We charge you, in the prince's name, stand!
Call up the right master constable. We have here recovered the most dangerous piece of lechery that ever was found in the Commonwealth.
Masters, masters,
You'll be made bring deformed forth, I warrant you.
masters, never speak, we charge you. Let us obey you to go with us.
We are likely to prove goodly commodities, being taken up by these men's bills.
Commodity in question, I'll warn you. Come, we'll obey you. So that's part one. We'll have a 10-minute intermission, and we'll continue with the rest of the play.
Could we, before you break, two things. First of all, we'd like to thank Notre Dame College for being our host, and Michael Martinez for working the lights for us.
back to these rooms.
Good Ursula, wake my cousin Beatrice, and desire her to rise.
I will, lady.
And bid her come hither.
Well,
Troth, I think your other rabato were better. No, pray thee, good maid, I'll wear this.
by my troths, not so good, and I warrant your cousin will say so.
My cousin's a fool, and thou art another. I'll wear none but this.
I like the tire within excellently. If the hair were a thought browner, the gown's most rare fashion face. I saw the Duchess of Milan's gown that they praise so.
Oh, that exceeds, they say.
By my troth, but a nightgown in comparison to yours. Cloth o' gold, cuts and laced with silver, set with pearls, down sleeves, side sleeves, and skirts round underborne with bluish tinsel. But for a fine, quaint, graceful, and excellent fashion, yours is worth 10 on it.
God grant me joy to wear it, for my heart is exceeding heavy.
'Twill be heavier soon, with the weight of a man.
Fie upon thee, art not ashamed?
Of what, lady? Of speaking honorably? Is not marriage honorable in the beggar? Is not your lord honorable without marriage? I should think you'd have me say, saving your reverence, a husband. And bad thinking did not rest to speaking. I'll offend nobody. Is there any harm in the heavier for a husband? None, I think. And if it be the right husband and the right wife. Otherwise, 'tis light and not heavy. Ask my Lady Beatrice else. Here she comes.
Good morrow, cuz.
Good morrow, sweet hero.
Why, how now? Do you speak in the sick tune?
I am out of all other tune, methinks.
Claps into light of love. That goes without a burden. You sing it and I'll dance it.
You light a love with your heels. If your husband have stables enough, you shall see he shall lack no barns.
Oh, illegitimate construction. I scorn that with my heels.
'Tis almost 5 o'clock, cousin. 'Tis time you were ready. By my troth, I am exceeding ill. Hey ho!
For a hawk, a horse, or a husband.
For the letter that begins them all. H.
Well, and you not be turned a Turk. There's no more sailing by the star.
What means the fool trowel?
Nothing I, but God sent everyone their heart's desire.
These gloves the Count sent me, they are an excellent perfume.
I'm stuffed, cousin. I cannot smell.
A maiden stuff. There's a goodly catching of cold.
Oh, God help me, God help me. How long have you professed apprehension?
Ever since you left it. Doth not my wit become me rarely?
Should wear it in your cap that is not seen enough. By my troth, I am sick.
Get you some of this Cardus Benedictus and lay it to your heart. It's the only thing for a qualm.
There thou prickest her with a thistle.
Benedictus? Why Benedictus? You have some moral in this Benedictus?
Moral? By my troth, I have no moral meaning. I meant plain holy thistle. You may think perchance that I think you are in love. Nay, byre lady, I'm not such a fool so to list what I think. Nor indeed, I think not to list what I can. Nor indeed, I cannot think. If I could think of my heart out of thinking, that you are in love, that you will be in love, or that you can be in love. Yet, Benedict was another, and now he has become a man. He swore he would never marry, and now, in despite of his heart, he eats his meat without grudging. And how you may be converted, I know not. But methinks you look with your eyes as other women do.
What pace is this that thy tongue keeps?
Not a false gallop.
Madame, withdraw. The prince, the count,
Signor Benedict and all the gallants of the town are come to fetch you to church.
Help me to dress, good cuz, good maid, good Ursula.
What would you with me, honest neighbors?
Marry, sir, I would have some confidence with you that discerns you nearly.
Brief, I pray you, for you see it is a busy time with me.
Marry, this it is.
Yes, in truth it is, sir.
What is it, my good friends?
Good man Virtue, sir, speaks a little off the matter. An old man, sir, and his wits are not so blunt as, God help, I would desire they were, but, in faith, honest as the skin between his brows.
Yes, I thank God I'm as honest as any man living, as an old man, and no honester than I.
Palabrous, neighbor Virgies, comparisons are odorous.
Neighbors, you are tedious.
It pleases your worship to say so, but we are the poor Duke's officers. Yet, for mine own part, if I were as tedious as a king, I could find in my heart to bestow it all of your worship.
All thy tediousness on me, eh?
Yea, and 'twere 1,000 pound more than 'tis, for I hear as good exclamation on your worship as of any man in the city. And though I be but a poor man, I am glad to hear it.
And so am I.
I would fain know what you would have to say.
Marry, sir, our watch tonight, accepting your worship's presence, have taken a couple of as errant knaves as any in Messina.
A good old man, sir, he will be talking. As they say, when the age is in, the wit is help. God help us, it is a world to see. Well said, i' faith, neighbor Virgies. Well, God's a good man, and 2 men a ride of a horse, 1 must ride behind. An honest soul, i' faith, sir, by my troth he is, as ever broke bread. But all men are not alike. Alas, good neighbor.
Indeed, neighbor, he comes too short of you.
Gifts that God gives.
I must leave you.
One word more, sir. Our watch, sir, hath indeed comprehended 2 auspicious persons, which I beseech your worship to examine them this morning.
Take their examination yourself and bring it me. I'm now in great haste, as it may appear unto you.
It shall be suffragance.
Drink some wine ere you go. Fare you well.
My lord, they stayed for you to give your daughter to your husband.
I'll wait upon them. I'm ready.
Go, good partner, go. Get you to Francis Seacole. Bid him bring his pen and inkward and meet me at the jail. We are now to examination
And
these
we
men.
must do it wisely.
We'll spare for no wit, I warrant you. Here's that shall drive some of them to non-com. Only get the learned writer to set down our excommunication and meet me at the jail.
Come, Friar Francis, be brief, only to the plain form of marriage, and we shall recount the particular duties afterwards.
You come hither, my lord, to marry this lady?
No.
To be married to her. Friar, you come to marry her.
You come hither, lady, to be married to this count?
I do.
If either of you know any inward impediment on why you should not be conjoined, I charge you on your souls to utter it.
Know you any hero?
None, my lord.
Know you any count?
I dare make his answer. None.
Oh, what men dare do, what men may do, what men daily do, not knowing what they do.
How now? Interjections? Why then some be of laughing is ah he.
Father, stand thee by. Father, will you with free and unconstrained soul give me this maid, your daughter?
As freely son as God did give her me.
And what have I to give you back, whose worth may counterpoise this rich and precious gift?
Nothing, unless you render her again.
Sweet prince, you learn me noble thankfulness. There, Leonardo, take her back.
Give not this rotten orange to your friend. She's but the sign and semblance of her honor. See how like a maid she blushes there. Oh, with what authority and show of truth can cunning sin cover itself withal? Comes not that blood as modest evidence to witness simple virtue? Would you not swear, all you that see her here, that she were a maid by these external shows? But she is none. She knows the heat of a luxurious bed. Her blush is guiltiness, not modesty.
What do you mean, my lord?
Not to be married, not to knit my soul to an approved wanton.
Dear my lord, if you in your own proof have vanquished the resistance of her youth and made a feat of her virginity,
I know what you would say. If I had known her, you would say she did embrace me as a husband, and thus accentuate the forehand sin. No, Leonardo, I never tempted her with word too large, but like a brother to his sister, showed bashful sincerity and comely love.
And seemed I ever otherwise to you?
Out on thee, seeming. You sing to me as dying in her orb, as chaste as the bud ere it be blown. But you are more intemperate in your blood than Venus, or those pampered animals that rage in savage sensuality.
Is my lord well that he doth speak so wide?
sweet prince, why speak not you?
What should I speak? I stand dishonored that have gone about to link my dear friend to a common stale.
Are these things spoken, or do I but dream?
Sir, they are spoken, and these things are true.
This looks not like a nuptial.
True, oh God.
Leonardo, stand I here? Is this the prince? Is this the prince's brother? Is this face heroes? Are our eyes our own?
All this is so, but what of this, my lord?
Let me move but one question to your daughter, and by that fatherly and kindly power you have in her, bid her answer truly.
I charge thee do so, as thou art my child.
Oh God, defend me, how am I beset? What kind of catechizing call you this?
To make you answer truly to your name.
Is it not Hero? Who can blot that name with any just reproach?
Marry that kid a hero. Hero itself can blot out hero's virtue. What man was he talked with you yesternight, out at your chamber window, betwixt 12 and 1? Now if you are a maid, answer to this.
I talked with no man at that hour, my lord.
Why then are you no maiden? Leonardo, I'm sorry you must hear. Upon mine honor, myself, my brother, and this grieved count did see her, hear her at that hour last night, talk with a ruffian at her chamber window, who hath indeed, most like a liberal villain, confessed the vile encounters they have had 1,000 times in secret.
Fie, my lord. These things are not to be spoke of, not to be named. There's not chastity enough in language without offense enough to utter them. Thus, pretty lady, I am sorry for thy much misgovernment.
O hero, what a hero hadst thou been, if half thy outward graces had been placed about thy thoughts and counsels of thy heart. But fare thee well, most foul, most fair. Fare thee well, thou pure in piety and in pious purity. For thee I'll lock up all the gates of love, and on my eyelids shall conjecture hang, to turn all beauty into thoughts of harm. And never more shall it be gracious.
Hath no man's dagger here a point for me?
Hero, wherefore sit you down?
Let us go. These things come thus to light, smother her spirits up.
How doth the lady?
Dead, I think. Help! Hero, what hero? Uncle, Senior Benedict, Friar.
O fate, take not away thy heavy hand. Death is the fairest cover for her shame that may be wished for.
How now, prison hero?
Have comfort, lady.
Dost thou look up?
Yea, wherefore should she not?
Wherefore? Why doth not every earthly thing cry shame upon her? Could she here deny the story that is printed in her blood? Do not live, hero. Do not open thy eyes. For did I think that thou wouldst not quickly die, though I thy spirits were stronger than thy shames, myself would on the rearward of reproaches strike at thy life. Grieved I had but one. Should I put that at frugal nature's frame? Why had I not with charitable hand took up her beggar's issue at my gates, who smirched thus and mired with infamy? I might have said, no part of it is mine. This shame derives itself from unknown loins. But mine I love. Mine she's fallen into a pit of ink that the sea hath drops too few to wash her clean again, and salt too little to give season to her foul, tainted flesh.
Sir, be patient. I, for my part, am so attired and wonder, I know not what to say.
Oh, on my soul, my cousin is belied.
Lady, were you her bedfellow last night?
No, truly not. Although until yesternight I have this 12-month been her bedfellow.
Confirmed, confirmed. Would the two princes lie and Claudio lie, who loved her, so that speaking of her foulness washed it with tears? Hence from her, let her die.
Hear me a little, for I have only silent been so long. Given way unto this course of fortune, by noting of the lady, I have marked 1,000 blushing apparitions. To start into her face 1,000 innocent shames. In angel whiteness beat away those blushes, and in her eye there hath appeared a fire, to burn the errors that these princes hold against her maiden truth. Call me a fool, trust not my readings nor my observations, which with experimental seal doth warrant the tenor of my book. Trust not my age, my reverence, calling, nor divinity, if this sweet lady lie not guiltless here under some biting error.
Friar, it cannot be. Thou seest that the only grace she hath left is that she will not add to her damnation a sin of perjury. Therefore, why seekest thou then to cover with excuse that which appears in its proper nakedness?
Lady, what man is he you are accused of?
They know that do accuse me. I know none. If I know more of any man alive than that which maiden modesty doth warrant, let all my sins lack mercy. O my father, prove you that any man met with me yesternight or conversed with me at hours unmeet. Refuse me, hate me, torture me to death.
There is some strange misprison in the princes.
2 of them have the very bent of honor. And if their wisdoms be misled in this, the practice of it lives in John the Bastard, whose spirits toil in the frame of villainies.
I know not. If they speak but truth of her, these hands shall tear her. If they wrong her honor, the proudest of them shall well hear of it. Time hath not yet so dried this blood of mine, nor age so eat at my invention, nor fortune made such havoc of my means, nor my bad life reft me so much of friends, that they shall find, acquit in such a kind, both strength of limb and policy of mind, ability and means, and choice of friends to quit me of them thoroughly.
Pause while, and let my counsel sway you in this case. Your daughter here, the prince is left for dead. Let her while be secretly kept in, and publish it that she is dead indeed, maintaining mourning ostentation, and on your family's old monument hang mournful epitaphs, and do all rites that appertain unto a burial.
What will become of this? What will this do?
Mary, this well carried shall on her behalf change slander to remorse. But not for that dream, I on this strange course, but on this travail look for greater birth. She dying as must so be maintained, upon the instant that she was accused, shall be lamented, pitied, and excused, of every hearer, for so it falls out, that what we prize we hold not to its worth, while as we enjoy it. But being lacked and lost, why then we rack the value? Then in it we find the virtue possession would not show us, whiles it was ours. So will it fare with Claudio, that when he shall hear she died upon his words, the idea of her life shall sweetly creep into the study of his imagination. And every lovely organ of her life shall come apparelled in more precious habit, more moving, delicate, and full of life. Into the eye and prospect of his soul. But if all aim but this be level false, you may conceal her as best befits her wounded reputation in some reclusive and religious life, out of all eyes, tongues, minds, and injuries.
Signor Leonato, let the friar advise you in this. And though you know my inwardness and love is very much unto the prince and Claudio, by mine honor I will deal as secretly and justly in this as your soul should with your body.
Being that I flow in grief, the smallest twine may lead me.
'Tis well consented, presently away, for to strange sores strangely they strain the cures. Then come, lady, die to live, and have this wedding day, which is perhaps but prolonged, have patience and adore.
Lady Beatrice, have you wept all this while?
Yea, and I will weep a while longer.
I will not desire that.
You have no reason. I do it freely.
Surely I do believe your fair cousin is wrong.
Oh, how much might the man deserve from me that would right her?
Is there any way to show such friendship?
Very even way. No such friend.
May a man do it.
It is a man's office, but not yours.
I do love nothing in this world so well as you. Is not that strange?
Strange is the thing I know not. Were it possible for me to say I love nothing so well as you, and yet believe me not, and yet I lie not. I confess nothing nor deny nothing. I'm sorry for my cousin.
By my sword, Beatrice, thou lovest me.
Do not swear and eat it.
I will swear by it that you love me and make him eat it that says I love not you,
Will you not eat your word?
with no sauce that can be devised to it.
But then God forgive me.
What offense, sweet Beatrice?
You've stayed me in a happy hour. I was about to protest I loved you.
And do it with all thy heart.
I love you with so much of my heart that none is left to protest.
Come, bid me do anything for thee.
Kill Claudio.
Oh, not for the wide world.
You kill me to deny it. Farewell.
Tarry, sweet Beatrice.
I am gone, though I am here. There is no love in you. I pray you let me go.
Beatrice!
In faith, I will go.
We'll be friends first.
You dare easier be friends with me than fight with mine enemy.
Is Claudio thine enemy?
Is he not approved in the height of villain? That hath scorned, dishonored, and slandered my kinswoman? Oh, that I were a man. What? Bear her in hand until they come to take hands, and then, with public accusation, uncovered slander, unmitigated rancor, oh God, that I were a man, I would eat his heart in the marketplace.
Hear me, Beatrice.
Talk with a man out at a window? A proper saying.
Nay, but Beatrice.
Sweet hero, she is wronged, she is slandered, she
Beatrice.
is undone. Princes and counties. Surely a princely testimony, a goodly count. Count Confect, a sweet gallant surely. Oh, that I were a man for his sake, or I had any friend who would be a man for my sake. But manhood is melted into curtsies, valor into compliment, and men are turned only into tongue, and trim ones too. Who's now as valiant as Hercules that only tells a lie and swears it. I cannot be a man with wishing, therefore I will die a woman with grieving.
Tarry, Beatrice. By this hand, I love thee.
Use it for my love some other way than swearing by it.
Think you in your soul, Count Claudio hath wronged hero?
Yea, as sure as I have a thought or a soul.
Enough. I am engaged. I will challenge him. I will kiss your hand, and so I leave you. By this hand, Claudio shall render me a dear account. As you hear of me, so think of me. Go, comfort your cousin. I must say she is dead. And so farewell.
Is our whole assembly appeared?
Oh, stool and cushion for the sexton.
Which be the malefactors?
Mary, that's am I, and my partner.
Nay, that is certain. We have an exhibition to examine.
But which are the offenders to be examined? Let them come before Master Constable.
Yea, Mary, let them come before me. What is your name, friend?
Brachio.
Pray write down Borachio. Yours, sirrah?
I am a gentleman, sir, and my name is Conrad.
Write down Master Gentleman Conrad. Masters, do you serve God?
Yea, sir. We hope.
We hope.
Write down that they hope they serve God, and write God first. For God defend, but God should come before such villains. Masters, It is proved already that you are little better than false knaves, and it will go near to be thought so shortly. How answer you for yourselves?
Marry, sir, I say we are none.
A marvelous witty fellow, I assure you. But I will go about with him. Come you hither, sirrah, a word in your ear. Sir, I say to you, it is thought you are false knaves.
Sir, I say to you, we are none.
Well, stand aside. For God, they are both in a tale.
Master Constable, you go not the way to examine. You must call forth the watch that are their accusers.
Yea, marry, that seeth this way. Let the watch come forth. Masters, I charge you in the prince's name, accuse these men.
This man said, sir, that Don John, the prince's brother, was a villain.
Write down, Prince John a villain. Why, this is flat perjury to call a prince's brother villain.
Master Constable.
Crazy fellow, peace. I do not like thy look, I promise thee.
What heard you him say else?
Marry, that he had received 1,000 ducats of Don John for accusing the lady hero wrongfully.
Flat burglary, as ever was committed.
Yea, by mass, that it is.
What else, fellow?
And that Count Claudio did mean, upon his words, to disgrace Hero before the whole assembly, and not marry her.
O villain, thou wilt be condemned into everlasting redemption for this.
What else?
This is all.
And this is more, masters, that you can deny. Prince John is this morning secretly stolen away. Hero was in this manner accused, in this very manner refused. Upon the grief of this, suddenly died. Master Constable, let these men be bound and brought to Leonado's. I will go before and show them their examination.
Come, let them be opinioned.
Let them be in the hands.
Off, coxcomb!
God's my life, where's the sexton? Let him write down Prince's officer Coxcomb. Bind them, thou Nazi varlet.
Oh, you're an ass. You are an ass.
Dost thou not suspect my place? Dost thou not suspect my years? Oh, that he were here to write me down an ass. But masters, remember that I am an ass. Though it be not written down, yet forget not that I am an ass. No, villain, thou art full of piety, as shall be proved upon thee by good witness. I am a wise fellow, and, which is more, an officer, and, which is more, a householder, and, which is more, as pretty a piece of flesh as any in Messina, and one that knows the laws go to, and a rich fellow enough go to, and a fellow that hath had losses, and 2 gowns, and everything handsome about him. Bring him away. Oh, that you were here to write me down an ass.
If you go on thus, you will kill yourself, and 'tis not wisdom the second grief against yourself.
I pray thee, cease thy counsel, which falls into my ears as profitless as water in a sieve. Give not me counsel, nor let no comforter delight mine ear, but such a one whose wrongs do suit with mine. Bring me a father who so loves his child, whose joy of her is overwhelmed like mine, and bid him speak of patience. Measure his woe the length and breadth of mine, and let it answer every strain for strain, as thus for thus, and such a grief for such, and every lineament branch, shape, and form. If such a one will smile, bid sorrow wag, cry hem when he should groan, patch grief with proverbs, make misfortune drunk on candle wasters. Bring him yet to me, and I of him will gather patience. But there's no such man, brother. For men can speak counsel to that grief which they themselves not feel. But tasting it, their counsel turns to passion, which would before give perceptual medicine to rage, fetter strong madness in a silken thread, charm ache with air and agony with words. No, no, 'tis all men's office to speak counsel to that grief which they themselves not feel, but no man's virtue nor sufficiency to be so moral when he shall endure the like himself. Therefore, give me no comfort. My griefs cry louder than advertisement.
Therein do men nothing differ from children.
I pray thee peace. It will be flesh and blood. For there was never yet philosopher that could endure the toothache patiently. However, they have writ the style of gods and made their push at chance and sufferance.
Yet, bend not all thy harm against yourself. Make those that do offend you suffer too.
There thou speakest reason. Nay, I will do so. My soul doth tell me that Hero is belied, and that shall Claudio know, and the prince, and all those that thus dishonor her.
Here comes the prince and Claudio hastily.
Good e'en, good e'en.
Hear you, my lords.
We have some haste, Leonardo.
Some haste, my lords? Are you so hasty now? Well, fare you well. Well, all is one.
Nay, do not quarrel with us, good old man.
If he could right himself of quarreling, some of us might lie low.
Who wrongs him?
Marry, thou dost wrong me. Thou dissembler, thou. Nay, never lay thy hand upon thy sword. I fear thee not.
Mary, beshrew my hand, if it should give your age cause of fear. In faith, my hand meant nothing to my sword.
Tush, tush, man, never fleer and jest at me. I speak not like a dotard nor a fool, as under privilege of age to brag what I have done being young, or what would do were I not old. No, Claudio, to thy head. Thou hast so wronged mine innocent child and me, that I am forced to lay reverence by, and with gray hairs and bruise of many days, do challenge thee to trial of a man. I say thou hast belied mine innocent child. Thy slander has gone through and through her heart, and she lies buried with her ancestors. Oh, in a tomb where never scandal slept, save this of hers, framed by thy villainy.
My villainy?
Thine, Claudio, thine, I say.
You say not right, old man.
My lord, I'll prove it on his body if you dare, despite his nice fence and active practice, his May of youth and bloom of lussyhood.
Away! I will not have to do with you.
Canst thou so daff me? Boy, thou hast killed my child. If thou killest me, man, thou shalt kill a man.
And shall kill two men, and men indeed. But 'tis no matter. Let him kill one first. Win me and wear me and answer me. Come, follow me, boy. Come, sir boy, come, follow me. Sir boy, I will whip you from your foining fence. Nay, as I am a gentleman, I will.
Brother.
Content yourself. God knows I love my niece. Slandered to death by villains. Now she is dead. That dares will answer a man indeed. As I take the serpent by the tongue. Boys, ape, braggarts, jacks, milksops.
Brother Anthony.
Hold your content. What men? I know them, yea, and what they weigh, even to the utmost scruple. Scambling, outfacing, bashing, mongeting fools that lie cog to flout, deprave and slander, go antically and show outward hideousness, that they may hurt their enemies if they durst. And this is all.
Brother Anthony.
Come, 'tis no matter. Do you not meddle? Let me deal in this.
Gentlemen both, we will not wake your patience. My heart is sorry for your daughter's death. But on my honor, she was charged with nothing but what was true and very full of proof.
My lord,
I will not hear you.
No? Come, brother, away. I will be heard.
And shall, or some of us will be smart for it.
See, here comes the man we went to seek.
How now, Signor? What news? Good day, my lord.
Welcome, Signor. You were almost come to part, almost afraid.
We had like to have had our two noses snapped off with two old men without teeth.
Leonardo and his brother. What thinkest thou? Had we fought, I doubt we should have been too young for them.
In a false quarrel there is no true valor. I came to seek you both.
We have been up and down to seek thee. We are high-proof melancholy, and would fain have it beaten away. Wilt thou use thy wit?
It is in my scabbard. Shall I draw it?
Dost thou wear thy wit by thy side?
Never any did so, though very many have been beside their wit. I will bid thee draw it, as we do the minstrels. Draw to pleasure us.
As I'm an honest man, he looks pale. Art thou sick or angry?
What? Courage, man. What though care killed the cat? Thou hast mettle enough in thee to kill care.
Sir, I shall meet your wit in the career, and you charge it against me. I pray you, choose another subject.
Nay, then bring him another staff. This last was broke cross.
By this light, he changes more and more. I think he be angry indeed.
If he be so, he knows how to turn his girdle.
Shall I speak a word in your ear?
God bless you from a challenge.
You are a villain. I guess not. I will make good how you dare, with what you dare, and when you dare. You have killed a sweet lady, and her death shall fall heavy on you. Let me hear from you.
Well, I will meet you, so that I may have good cheer.
What, a feast, a feast?
In faith, I thank him. He has bid me to a calf's head and a capon, the which if I do not carve most curiously, say my knife's not. Shall I not find a woodcock too?
Sir, your wit ambles well, it goes easily.
I'll tell thee how Beatrice praised thy wit the other day. I said thou hadst a fine wit. True, said she, a fine little one. Nay, said I, a great wit. Right, said she, a great gross one. Nay, said I, a good wit. Just, said she, it hurts no one. Nay, said I, the gentleman is wise. Certain, said she, a wise gentleman. Nay, said I, he hath the tongues. That I believe, said she, for he swore a thing to me on Monday night, which he forswore on Tuesday morning. There's a double tongue. There's two tongues. Thus did she an hour together transshape thy particular virtues. Yet at last she concluded with a sigh, thou was the properest man in Italy.
For the which she wept heartily, and said she cared not.
Yea, that she did. But yet for all that, and if she did not hate him deadly, she would love him dearly. The old man's daughter told us all.
All. Moreover, God saw him when he was hid in the garden. And text underneath, here dwells Benedict, the married man?
Fare you well, boy. You know my mind. I will leave you now to your gossip-like humor. You break jests like braggarts do their blades, which God be thanked hurt not. My lord, for your many courtesies, I thank you. I must discontinue your company. Your brother the bastard is fled from Messina. You have among you killed a sweet and innocent lady. As for my lord Lackbeard there, he and I shall meet. Until then, peace be with him.
He is in earnest.
In most profound earnest. And I'll warrant you for the love of Beatrice.
And hath challenged me.
Most sincerely.
What a pretty thing man is, when he goes in his doublet and hose, and leaves off his wit.
He is then a giant to an ape. But that is an ape adopted as such a man.
Yea, that he is. Pluck up my heart and be sad. Did he not say my brother was fled?
Come you, sir, if justice cannot tame you, she shall ne'er weigh more reasons in her balance. Nay, and you be a cursing hypocrite once, you must be looked to.
How now? Two of my brother's men bound, Baracchio one?
Hearken not to their offense, my lord.
Officers, what offense have these men done?
Nay, sir, they have committed false reports. Moreover, they have spoken untruths. Secondarily, they are slanders. Sixth and lastly, they have belied a lady. Thirdly, they have verified unjust things. And, to conclude, they are lying knaves.
First, I ask thee what they have done. Thirdly, I ask thee what's their offense. Sixth and lastly, why they are committed. And to conclude, what you lay to their charge.
Rightly reasoned, and in his own division. And by my troth, there's one meaning well suited.
Who have you offended, masters, that you are thus bound to your answer? This learned constable is too cunning to be understood. What's your offense?
Sweet prince, let me go no further in my answer. Do you hear me and let this count kill me? I've deceived even your very eyes, which your wisdoms could not discover. These shallow fools have brought to light, who in the night overheard me confessing to this man how the prince, your brother, incensed me to slander the lady hero. How you were brought into the orchard and saw me court Margaret in hero's garments. How you disgraced her when you should marry her. My villainy they have upon record, which I had rather seal with my death than repeat over to my shame. The lady is dead upon mine and my master's false accusation. And briefly, I desire nothing but the reward of a villain.
Runs not this speech like iron through your blood?
I have drunk poison whilst he uttered it.
But did my brother set thee onto this?
Yea, and pay me richly for the practice of it.
He's composed and framed of treachery, and fled he is upon this villainy.
Sweet hero, now thy image doth appear in the fairest semblance that I loved it first.
Come, bring away the plaintiffs. By this time, our sexton hath reformed Senior Leonardo the matter. And masters, do not forget to specify when time and place shall serve that I am an ass.
Here come Master Signor Leonardo and the sexton too.
Which is the villain? Let me see his eyes, that when I note another man like him, I may avoid him. Which of these is he?
If you would know your wronger, look on me.
Art thou the slave that with thy breath hath killed mine innocent child?
Yea, and even I alone.
No, not so, villain. Thou beliest thyself. Here stand a pair of honorable men. A third is fled that had a hand in it. I thank you, princes, for my daughter's death. Record it with your high and worthy deeds. 'Twas bravely done, if you'll bethink you of it.
I know not how to pray your patience, yet I must speak. Choose your revenge yourself. Impose me to what penance your invention can lay upon my sin. Yet sinned I not but in mistaking.
By my soul, nor I. And yet to satisfy this good old man, I would bend under any heavy weight that he'll enjoin me to.
I cannot bid you bid my daughter live. That were impossible. But I pray you both, possess the people in Messina here how innocent she died. And if your love can labor aught in sad invention, hang her an epitaph upon her tomb and sing it to her bones. Sing it tonight. Tomorrow come you to my house, and since you cannot be my son-in-law, be yet my nephew. My brother hath a daughter almost a copy of my child that is dead, and she alone is heir to both of us. Give her the right you should have given my daughter, and so dies my revenge.
O noble sir, your over-kindness doth wring tears from me. I do embrace your offer, and dispose from henceforth of poor Claudio.
Tomorrow, then, I will expect your coming. Tonight I take my leave. This naughty man shall face to face be brought to Margaret, whom I believe was packed in all this wrong, hired to it by your brother.
No, by my soul, she was not, nor knew not what she did when she spoke to me, but hath always been just and virtuous in anything that I do know by her.
Moreover, sir, which indeed is not under white and black, this plaintiff here, the offender, did call me ass. I beseech your worship, let it be remembered in your punishment. And also, the watch heard him speak of one deformed. They say he wears a key in his ear and a lock hanging by it, and borrows money in God's name, the which he hath used so long and never paid back, that now men grow hard-hearted, will lend nothing for God's sake. Pray you, examine him on that point.
I thank thee for thy care and honest pains.
Your worship sounds like a most reverent and thankful youth, and I praise God for you.
There's for thy pains.
God save the foundation.
Go, I discharge thee of thy prisoner, and I thank thee.
I leave an errant knave with your worship, which I beseech your worship to correct yourself for the example of others. God keep your worship. I wish your worship well. God restore you to health. I humbly give you leave to depart. And If a merry meeting may be wished for, God prohibit it. Come, neighbor.
Until tomorrow morning, lords. Farewell.
Farewell, my lords. We will look for you tomorrow.
We will not fail.
Tonight I'll mourn with Hero.
Bring you these fellows on. I will talk with Margaret how her acquaintance grew with this lewd fellow.
I pray thee, sweet mistress Margaret, deserve well at my hands by helping me to the speech of Beatrice.
Will you then write me a sonnet in praise of my beauty?
In so high a style, Margaret, that no man living may come over it. For in most comely truth, thou deservest it.
To have no man come over me? Oh, why shall I always keep below the stairs?
Thy wit is as quick as the greyhound's mouth. It catches.
And yours as blunt as the fencer's foils, which hit but hurt not.
A most manly wit, Margaret. It will not hurt a woman. And therefore I pray thee call Beatrice. I give thee the bucklers.
Give us the swords. We have bucklers of our own.
They are, if you use them, Margaret, you must put in the pikes with a vice, and they are dangerous weapons for maids.
Well, I think I'll call Beatrice to you, who I think hath legs.
And therefore will come. The God of love that sits above and knows me and knows me. How pitiful I deserve. I mean in singing, but in loving. Leander, the good swimmer. Troilus, the first employer of these panders. And a whole book full of quondam carpetmongers whose names yet run smoothly in the even road of a blank verse. They were never truly so turned over and over as my poor self in love. Mary, I cannot show it in rhyme. I have tried. I can find no rhyme to lady but baby. An innocent rhyme to horn, scorn. A harsh rhyme to school, fool. A babbling rhyme, very ominous endings. No, I was not born under a rhyming planet, nor I cannot woo in festival terms. Sweet Beatrice, wouldst thou come when I called thee?
Yea, signor, and depart when you bid me.
Oh, stay but till then.
Then is spoken. Fare you well now. And yet, ere I go, let me come to that which I came, which is to know what hath passed between you and Claudia.
Only foul words, and thereupon I will kiss thee.
Foul words is but foul wind. Foul wind is but foul breath. Foul breath is noisome. Therefore I shall depart unkissed.
Thou hast frighted the word out of his right sense, so forcible is thy wit. But I must tell thee plainly, Claudio undergoes my challenge, and either I must hear from him shortly, or I will subscribe him a coward. And now, tell me, for which of my bad parts did thou first fall in love with me?
For them all together, which maintain so politic a state of evil that they would allow no good part to intermingle with them. For which of my good parts did you first suffer love from me?
Suffer love. A good epithet. I do suffer love indeed, for I love thee against my will.
In spite of your heart, I think. Alas, poor heart. If you spite it for my sake, I shall spite it for yours, for I cannot love that which my friend hates.
Thou and I are too wise to woo peaceably.
It appears not in this confession. There is not one wise man among 20 that will praise himself.
An old instance, Beatrice, that lived in the time of good neighbors. Yet if a man do not erect in this life his own tomb ere he dies, he shall live no longer in monument than the bell rings and the widow weeps.
How long is that, think you?
Question, why an hour in clamor and a quarter in room. Therefore, it is most expedient for the wise, if Don Worm his conscience, find no impediment to the contrary, to be the trumpet of his own virtues, as I am to myself. So much for praising myself, who, I myself will bear witness, am praiseworthy. And now, tell me, how doth your cousin?
Very ill.
And how do you,
Very ill, too.
Serve God, love me, and man. And there I will leave you, for here comes one in haste.
Madame, you must come to your uncle. Yonder's old coil at home. It is proved the lady here hath been falsely accused. The prince and Claudio mightily abused, and Don John, the author of all, is fled and gone. Will you come presently?
Will you go hear this news, Signor?
I will live in thy heart, die in thy lap, be buried in thine eyes, and moreover I will go with thee to thine uncle's.
Leonatos?
It is, my lord.
Done to death by slanderous tongues, was the hero that here lies. Death and guerdon of her wrongs gives her fame that never dies. So the life that died with shame lives in death with glorious fame. Hang thou there upon the tomb, praising her when I am dumb. Now music sound and sing thy solemn hymn. Now unto thy bones good night. Yearly will I do this right.
Good morrow, masters. Put your torches out. The wolves have preyed. And look, the gentle day before the wheels of Phoebus round about dapples the drowsy east with spots of gray. Thanks to you all and leave us. Fare you well.
Good morrow, masters. Each his several way.
Come, let us hence and put on other weeds, and then to Leonatos we will go.
And Hymen now with luckier issue speed us, than this for whom we rendered up this woe.
Did I not tell you she was innocent?
So are the prince and Claudio, who accused her upon the error that you heard debated. But Margaret was in some part for this, although against her will, as it appears in the true course of all the questions.
Well, I'm glad all things start so well.
And so am I, being else by faith enforced to call young Claudio to a reckoning for it.
Well, daughter, and you gentlewomen all, withdraw yourselves into a chamber by yourselves, and when I call for you, come hither masked. The prince and Claudio promised by this hour to visit me. Brother, you know your office. You must be father to your brother's daughter and give her to young Claudio.
Which I will do with confirmed continence.
Friar, I must entreat your pains, I think.
To do what, Signor?
To bind me or undo me. One of the two. Signor Leonardo, truth it is, good signor, that your niece regards me with an eye of favor.
That I, my daughter, lends her, 'tis most true.
And I do with the eye of love requite her.
Besides whereof, I think you had from me, from Claudio and the prince. But what is your will?
Your answer, sir, is enigmatical. But for my will is that your goodwill may stand with us this day to be conjoined in the state of honorable marriage, in which, good friar, I shall desire your help.
My heart is with your liking.
And my help. Here comes the Prince and Claudio.
Good morrow to this fair assembly.
Good morrow, prince. Good morrow, Claudio. We here attend you. Are you yet determined today to marry with my brother's daughter?
I'll hold my mind were she in Ethiopia.
Call her forth, brother. Here's the friar ready.
Good morrow, Benedict. Why, what's the matter that you have such a February face, so full of frost, of storm, and cloudiness?
I think he thinks upon the savage bull. Tush, tush. Fear not, man. We'll tip thy horns with gold, and all Europa shall rejoice at thee, as once Europa did at lusty Jove, and he did play the noble beast in love.
Bull Jove, sir, had an amiable low, and some such strange bull leapt your father's cow and got a calf in that same noble feat. Much like to you, for you have just his bleat.
For this I owe you. Here come other reckonings. Which is the lady I must seize upon?
This same is she, and I do give you her.
Why then she's mine. Sweet, let me see your face.
No, that shall you not, till you take your hand before this friar and swear that you will marry her.
Give me your hand before this holy friar. I am your husband, if you like of me.
And when I lived, I was your other wife. And when you loved, you were my other husband.
Another hero!
Nothing certainer. One hero died defiled, but I do live, and surely as I live, I am a maid.
The former hero that is dead.
She died, my lord, whilst her slander lived.
All this amazement can I qualify, when after that the holy rites are ended, I'll speak largely of the fair hero's death. Meantime, let wonder seem familiar. Into the chapel let us presently.
Soft fair friar, which is Beatrice?
I answer to that name. What is your will?
Do not you love me?
Why, no. No more than reason.
Why then, your uncle, the prince, and Claudio have been deceived. They swore you did.
Do you not love me?
Troth, no more than reason.
Well, then my cousin, Margaret, and Ursula were much deceived, for they did swear you did.
They swore you were almost sick for me.
They swore you were well nigh dead for me.
'Tis no such matter. Then you do not love me?
No, truly not, but in friendly recompense.
Come, cousin, I am sure you love the gentleman.
And I'll be sworn upon it that he loves her. For here's a paper, written in his own hand. A halting sonnet of his own pure brain, fashioned to Beatrice.
And here's another written in my cousin's hand and stolen from her pocket, containing her affection unto Benedict.
A miracle. Here's our own hands against our hearts. Come, I will have thee. But by this light I take thee for pity.
I would not deny you, but by this good day I yield upon great persuasion, and partly to save your life, for I was told you were in a consumption.
Peace, I will have thee.
How dost thou, Benedict, the married man?
I'll tell thee what, Prince. A college of witcrackers cannot flout me out of my humor. Dost thou think I care for the satire or the epigram? If a man will be beaten with brains, he shall wear nothing handsome about him. In brief, since I do purpose to marry, I shall think nothing to any purpose that the world can say against it, and therefore never flout at me for what I have said against it. For man is a giddy thing. And this is my conclusion. For thy part, Claudio, I did think to have beaten thee. But in that thou art like to be my kinsman, live unbruised and love my cousin.
I had well hoped thou wouldst have denied Beatrice, that I might have cudgelled thee out of thy single life, to make thee a double dealer, which out of question thou wilt be, if my cousin do not look exceeding narrowly to thee.
Come, we are friends. Let's have a dance ere we are married, that we may lighten our own hearts and our wives' heels.
We'll have dancing afterwards.
First of my word, therefore play music. Prince, thou art sad. Get thee a wife, get thee a wife. There is no staff more reverend than one tipped with horn.
My lord, your brother John is taken in a fight and brought with our men back to Messina.
Think not on him till tomorrow. I'll devise thee brave punishments for him. Pipers, strike up!
All right, we'd like to thank a couple people. First of all, you for coming. And second of all, I'd like to thank Julia Monaco for doing all the stage work this night. Second, I'd like to thank Miss Smith for her help with the costumes and staging. Third, we'd like to thank Mrs. Hogan for her professional tips and her help doing and putting on this production. And then last, but certainly the person who did the most work and put so much effort into this play and made it so great, Mr. Cusel. Mr. Cusel.